In a world where everyone is trying to be heard, the most powerful person in the room is often the one who speaks the least. Most people assume influence comes from talking more, explaining more, and constantly proving their intelligence. But psychology suggests the opposite. True authority often appears through calm observation, thoughtful pauses, and carefully chosen words. When someone is comfortable with silence, it signals confidence, emotional control, and deep thinking, traits that people instinctively respect. Think about a serious meeting or an important discussion. Several people are sharing opinions, debating ideas, and trying to make their voices heard. But there is usually one person who remains quiet. They listen carefully. They observe the room. They think before speaking. And when that person finally shares their perspective, the entire room becomes attentive. Their silence created anticipation, and anticipation naturally commands attention. Psychologists often refer to this as the power of strategic silence. Silence communicates more than many people realize. It suggests intelligence. It suggests emotional discipline. And it signals that the person speaking is thoughtful rather than reactive. In social dynamics, the person who does not compete for attention often gains it naturally. Because in a noisy environment, silence stands out. Most people feel uncomfortable with silence. When a conversation pauses, they quickly try to fill the space with words. They explain their ideas repeatedly. They add details that are not always necessary. And sometimes they continue speaking simply to avoid an awkward moment. But this habit can reduce the impact of what they say. When words become constant, they begin to lose their weight. Another common behavior is over-explaining. People often feel the need to justify every decision or opinion. They repeat their reasoning and add more explanation, hoping to sound convincing. But confidence rarely requires excessive justification. When someone states their point clearly and then stops speaking, their message appears stronger. Over-explaining can unintentionally signal uncertainty. Clear and concise communication, on the other hand, signals confidence. Research in communication psychology shows that people who speak calmly and pause between ideas are often perceived as more intelligent. The pauses suggest reflection. The restraint suggests self-control. And self-control is one of the strongest signals of confidence. This is why silence often communicates authority without saying a single word. One powerful psychological principle that explains this behavior is the scarcity effect. Humans naturally place higher value on things that are rare. Limited opportunities feel more desirable. Rare resources appear more valuable. And surprisingly, the same principle applies to communication. When someone speaks constantly, their words blend into the background. But when someone speaks selectively, their words become rare. And rarity attracts attention. People begin to listen more carefully because they expect something meaningful. In conversations, the less frequently someone speaks, the more impact their words can carry. This is why experienced leaders, negotiators, and high-level thinkers often use silence intentionally. They allow others to speak first. They gather information. They observe reactions. And when they finally share their perspective, their words carry greater influence. Because people naturally assume that thoughtful silence leads to thoughtful ideas. Silence also communicates emotional strength. In stressful situations, many people react instantly. They defend themselves, raise their voice, or respond emotionally. But individuals who pause before responding demonstrate something different. They show emotional discipline. And emotional discipline is closely associated with leadership and confidence. Think about conflict or disagreement. When someone reacts immediately, the situation can escalate quickly. But when a person pauses, breathes, and responds calmly, the entire tone of the conversation changes. Silence creates space for rational thinking. It allows emotions to settle before decisions are made. And this composure often earns respect from others. A thoughtful pause sends a powerful signal. It shows that the person is thinking rather than reacting. And in environments where pressure is high, people naturally trust those who maintain calm control. Silence, in this sense, becomes a symbol of psychological strength. Silence is often misunderstood as weakness, but in reality, it can be a powerful form of presence. It allows you to observe more carefully, understand people more deeply, and respond with clarity rather than impulse. In a world filled with constant noise and endless opinions, the ability to remain calm and thoughtful is rare. And rare qualities always stand out. People remember individuals who speak with intention rather than urgency. They respect those who remain composed when others rush to react. And they listen carefully to those whose words are not wasted. Understanding psychology gives you an advantage in every conversation, every decision, and every relationship. Because when you understand how people think and behave, you begin to see patterns others miss. If you enjoy learning about psychology, influence, and the hidden dynamics of human behavior, subscribe to the channel. Because mastering the mind is one of the most valuable skills you can develop.